Welcome artists to Monet Cafe Studio and this pastel painting lesson featuring a sunlit field of black-eyed Susan flowers. In this lesson, I will guide even the very beginner artist on a journey where I will teach you some of the basics and simple steps and principles of painting with soft pastels. I think you'll have fun and learn lots on this beautiful painting adventure. The beginner artist should love that this lesson has minimal supplies. The surface is Le Carte Pastel Card. Now, this is the water-friendly version. There's another one that's not water-friendly. And as I always say, use what you have. Any water-friendly surface will do. And this pad has sheets that are square, 12 inches by 12 inches. I will be using only one set of soft pastels. It is my curated set I created through Earthberry Pastels, and I love this set. This is my third video where I am creating a full painting using only this set. They currently have a 10% coupon code if you use Susan10Art at checkout, and I'll have all these product links in the description of this video. I'm once again starting with an underpainting. If you're a newbie to soft pastel painting, it's basically just toning your surface or giving a little value study underneath your painting. And for this painting, I'm keeping it simple. I'm using these Prismacolor NuPastels to tone the entire surface. I'm using a combination of some of these kind of cool pinks and this one that's a little bit more orange. And I'm just getting some fun color underneath. Now, why did I choose this color? Well, warm colors typically work well underneath landscape paintings, and that's because there's a lot of blue and green typically in the scenes, and these warm colors are complementary. They're going to make your painting really pop, as you can see in this field of flowers. The gold color is just peeking through underneath. Now for this painting, I chose some colors that leaned a little bit more pink, a little orangey pink, and the reason is because we're painting black-eyed Susan flowers, and these flowers have yellow golden petals, so I wanted the pink to make it pop. And now I'm going to be wetting this underpainting with this brush. Is called a hockey brush, H-A-K-E. You could use any large brush you have, and I'm just going to use water. You could also use any brand of pastels to create this underpainting. You actually don't even have to use a water-friendly surface like this if you just want to blend your pastels underneath. And if you are using a water-friendly surface, you could even use watercolor or acrylic ink, anything just to get that nice pinkish orange tone, almost a coral color. Now I'm really speeding this up. I think you can get the idea. This part is fairly easy. And now I'm going to do a simple sketch. Now there is no reference image for this because I really just looked at a lot of photos of black-eyed Susans and painted out of my imagination. So if you're a patron of mine on my Patreon page, I'm going to be giving you my final painting attached. You can use the painting as the reference. And my patrons will be getting slower speeds and full commentary. But not to worry, Monet Cafe subscribers and followers, you'll be getting plenty of content in this video. I always want to keep bringing these free lessons to my YouTube channel. And if you would like to join my Patreon family, it's super easy. It's only $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. And what I love is I get to see your work. We have game challenges, a monthly review of your artwork, and so much more. Won't you join the family? And while I've got you here, let me ask a quick favor. If you would go ahead and like this video, it really helps YouTube to share my video more often. Of course, subscribe and comment because I love to hear from you. Here I'm working on the sketch just using a pastel pencil, and I have superimposed my actual painting here so you can kind of follow along. And this is sped up substantially more than the Patreon version, but I like to share with you that you can always slow it down on YouTube. All you have to do is click the gear icon that's within the viewing window while you're watching, and you can change the playback speed and slow it down. I always say, please turn the volume down though, because my voice will sound really strange. Love that Earthberry Pastels includes these color sheets. You can mark the pastels from your set under the appropriate numbers. I'm just showing some of the colors here that I'm going to be using for the flowers. And I have a full tutorial on a review of this set where I discuss almost every color and kind of my reasoning for choosing these colors for this Fields of Sunshine set. So I'm starting out with the centers of the flowers. And again, these are black-eyed Susans, which I think is funny because my name's Susan, and many of you may not know, I used to own a karate school and a gym. I am a black belt. Of course, I'm a very old black belt right now, but I don't like the idea of a black-eyed Susan. That means I lost a fight. So I've gotten these flower centers in using a combination of darks, and now I am starting with these petals Contrary to what you might think if you're a beginner artist, when I was first soft pastel painting, I would have gotten that lightest yellow, but it's really best to work dark to light with pastel painting. So we typically lay down a darker value first. And now I'm using a darker value just to get a little bit of depth in between some of those petals as they kind of converge up towards the center head of the flower. And we're going to do a process of layering. Now I'm going to get one of those lighter golden colors. It's just a little bit lighter than the orange that I put down. And I'm just getting some lighter values on the petals that are in the front. And I want to keep some petals behind. I don't want this painting to feel flat, but I want it to have dimension. And you're going to see me avoid some of the petals in the back. They should be in shadow. I even add a few more as I paint. So I just really want to get in my idea of my larger flower shapes now, and I'll be adding my smaller flowers receding into the distance later. But this is a stage that's called blocking in. I'm just blocking in the majority of the surface with a very loose style. I'm probably overworking these flowers a little bit at this point, but I wanted to show you how I'm adding those shadowy petals that are behind. This is what's going to give your flowers and your painting depth. And I'm just going to show you real quick here how I will later turn on the sunshine with some of these brighter yellow colors. Here's one. I'm just going to add a little bit to show you how we will later turn on the sunshine on some of the selected focal point flowers. Now, these flowers don't have any stems, so I'm just going to sketch in with my pastel pencil just a concept, an idea of these flowers so they don't feel like they're floating. And often these things get tweaked a little bit as you add your pastels. But now I'm going to start working on this background tree line. I love these beautiful teals and turquoise colors that I've chosen in my Fields of Sunshine set. And this turquoise, kind of a muted middle to dark turquoise, is an excellent color for distant trees. We know that things get a little bit lighter as they move into the distance and cooler in color temperature. I added that darker bluish purple to the taller shape on the right. That's my tree shape. And as I've been mentioning a lot, we typically work dark to light with pastel painting, layering our lighter values on top of the darker ones, which is exactly what I'm doing here. And this pastel is a little lighter and a little brighter, and it works great for layering a little bit of light on the top of that, either mountain range or distant trees. And this is the pretty foresty green. I just layered a little bit on top of that darker value for the tree shape, and I even tested a little bit of another green that I'm going to use later. I love these two little neutral colors I included in the set, and I'm using this one that it actually looks very taupe, but it actually has a little bit of a violet hue to it, and it's nice for blocking in some of these cloud shapes. And again, this is still the block in stage. I am just covering the surface with pastels with a light touch. And I apologize, my hands are moving so much. I actually was teaching and talking during this presentation. And like I say often, my full version is over on my Patreon page. But there's still so much that you can learn right here on my YouTube channel for free. This is a beautiful darker blue that I added negatively towards the top. And now I'm comparing these two turquoise lighter values that I'm using to carve in between some of the cloud shapes. Now I will be darkening up that color in a bit. I have it a little bit too light, especially in that middle area of the sky. But values do get lighter in a sky the closer you get to the horizon. I'm going to jump ahead just a bit, and you can see I'm developing the sky a bit more. And I actually decided that I wanted to do some color echoing. I thought, I'm going to want some flowers down in the field that aren't just these black-eyed Susan flowers. They actually are a little bit like cone flowers as well. And this is the blue. It's the one that I used kind of going up into the sky. And what I'm doing here is I'm literally trying to use only this set of Earthberry Pastels, which I did accomplish that other than the underpainting. But I wanted to bring some other flower colors down and really the lavenders and the pinks were a good choice because they complement those yellow flowers so nicely. And why did I add these flowers before adding my grass colors and values? I typically like to get my flowers in first, just the basic block end of the flowers. If they're a little bit larger, you'll see later how I add my smaller flowers on top of the grasses. But now I'm negatively working the grasses around these flower shapes that I've already put in. And as you can see, the foreground area of grass I put in first was the darker green. Now this middle value green that I'm adding to this tree is the one that I used in the middle of the grasses. And this is a beautiful, lighter, warmer value green, just a little bit lighter, that I'm adding to the distant grasses. Once again, because values tend to get lighter as they recede into the distance, like I'm doing now with this lighter green, and sometimes a little cooler in color temperature. It depends on the subject matter. Now, I decided to go ahead and blend the sky, and I actually do end up blending most of the painting. I thought, this is taking a while for me to get it blocked in, and I really wanted to soften things up. So I'm using a piece of pipe foam insulation. It's the black insulation that you put around your pipes, typically in cold climates, just to keep them insulated. And it makes for a really nice blending tool. Now, some substitutions you could use would be packing peanuts, like to protect your packages. And I've even heard people say they use pool noodles. So I'm just giving some information as I'm blending here. But you can see I use a little corner and I just kind of get into the little crevices. And I felt like this covered up much of that blank space with just the underpainting showing through. And you might be thinking, well, why are you covering up that coral colored underpainting? Well, it's not totally covering it up. There is still an influence of that pretty little glowing pinkish orange color that has underlying influence on the whole painting. And sometimes I do let my underpainting show through even more, but I just sort of wanted to soften this one. You could do this painting either way. Now that I have my sky nicely blended, I thought I'd add a bit of this beautiful little lavender color that's also in the flowers. Again, this is called color echoing, where you incorporate some of the colors in your painting in other areas. Typically, if you get the value right, you can explore color and add colors that you don't necessarily see, but because the value is correct, it typically will work as long as it's not too crazy. So I loved adding that little lavender. And now I'm using this lighter value. It's really a light, pretty light blue. It looks white. As you can see, it's looking pretty textural. And that's this surface that I'm using is the Sennelier mixed media surface. Again, it's the one that is water friendly. Obviously, you could tell that from the underpainting. But both this surface and the Sennelier surface that is not water friendly, both of them are pretty textural. So don't get all fretful if you're seeing all this texture and you want it to blend, because guess what happens? As you continue to layer with soft pastels, you're going to see this happen like magic right before your eyes. They start to blend themselves. So I remember when I was first beginning with pastel painting, I had this tendency to overpressure and overblend and overlayer, just trying to get rid of some of that texture. But be patient with that. Just keep a light touch and just know that the more gentle layers you add, the more your pastels will eventually start to soften up and look more blended. And again, you're going to see that happen by the end of the painting. And here you'll see me use that blue that I have mostly at the top of the sky to carve into this tree shape. This is, again, negative painting, and it's often called sky holes, where you're carving in negatively the spaces between the branches and leaves rather than painting them into the sky. Now I'm lightening up that distant tree line or mountains. It really doesn't matter what it is because, when you paint with an impressionistic style like this, you're really just suggesting things. And it's nice to leave a little mystery to your painting and not spell it all out. As you can see, I'm carving a little bit in between some of the petals, and now I'm adding a bit more drama and dark to the base of those Black-Eyed Susan centers. And again, I love the concept of color echoing. Since I had some of the pinks in the flowers below, I decided to play around with it and see where I might could add it. A little bit in the coneflower or Black-Eyed Susan Susan flower and some into the clouds. I did end up blending this pink out a little bit from the clouds. I thought it was a bit too much, so I softened that with a little layering in a bit. Here I'm just showing a couple of the middle to dark greens in the set. One of them leans a little cooler, a little more turquoise, and one leans a little more of a foresty green. It's one of the ones I used in the tree shape in the distance there. And I'm just darkening the foreground. These flowers are growing up from these deep roots and grasses, and so I know it's going to be a little bit darker in the foreground. And now I'm getting a little bit more punctuated with some of my mark making. Before, when I was layering the grass colors, I was just blocking in lightly, gently. And now I'm giving some texture and some more definitive mark making. I even pulled up a little bit of that lighter green into that larger tree shape to represent maybe some weeds and things growing up over the horizon. And now I'm going to some of my lighter greens. I have two pretty light greens in the set. This one is pretty light, but actually there's one even brighter and a more sunshiny yellow-green color. And now I'm going to use a green here that I love. This just feels like a grass green. It's a middle to light value, and it's really nice for those middle grasses in a field. And I kind of lost some of my depth and dimension and some of those petals that are behind in the back of the foreground petals. So again, I'm just trying to give it some dimension and depth. And now I'm adding the sunshine to the tops of the Black-Eyed Susan flowers as the sun is just glinting and glazing across them. And here's where I told you I was going to soften up some of that pink, and I'm using that pretty gray neutral color to do that. Now, can you see that I didn't use another blending tool? I just used more pastels, and look at how these clouds are all of a sudden getting wispy and feathery. And just like I said, the more you layer, the more things finally start to blend and soften. But at the same time, you don't want to overlayer either and get things muddy. If you've followed my channel long, you know I love a punch of color, and often towards the end of a painting, I'll look and say, what could I add in certain focal point areas to give it that little spice? And in this case, I decided to use some of the Prismacolor new pastels that I used for the underpainting. Believe it or not, that underpainting still does have a little influence in places. And look how this just makes that sunflower come to life. And I don't want to put it everywhere, but just in areas where I want a little more focal point attention. And I really do think that helped a lot. Now, this is one of the lighter yellows in the set. It's not the lightest one, and I'm glazing it, layering it, trying not to cover some of the darker values underneath, but just looking at where the sun might catch on some of the petals of the flowers. Now I have grabbed the lightest yellow right here, and can you see that brightness? This is really turning on the sunshine just in a few areas, again, just to give a couple of the flowers a bit more drama. And now is when I'm going to add the smaller flowers I mentioned. These are the ones that they're small enough that I can just add them on the tops of the grasses. So I added my centers first, then just make some gestural downward strokes for the petals, trying not to give too much detail because these flowers are small and far away. Like I mentioned earlier, my stems did disappear, so I'm using the edge of this pretty green Earthberry pastel, and I love it when you have rectangular pastels. You can often use the edge of the pastel to get a nice thin line for a stem. I'm reestablishing these little bluish, purple, pinkish flowers because they kind of got lost with some of the grasses that I added. So I thought these were fun, and I made them look like thistle flowers with the little spiky petals. And here I'm blending. This is a pretty light yellow. It's a very, very pale yellow, one of the lightest in the set other than my very light blue I used before. And with this Earthberry set that I curated, it was such an honor that Earthberry Pastels even asked me to do this. And I really wanted to create a set that could work for a full painting like this with various values, neutrals, varying color temperatures, and more. It's been fun this month to exclusively use this set for paintings like this one, and I decided to add a few bees. If you're a patron of mine, you have the painting tutorial version where I show you how I created these little bees. But I zoomed in here so you could see the texture. Often you can just see it better when I take my camera and really pan around the image. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and learned something new that will help you in your pastel painting journey. I'd love for you to comment. I've come to know quite a few of you from the comment section. Also, please like this video. It helps YouTube to share it more often. Become a patron if you would like to join my Patreon family. And as always, God bless and happy painting.